Hello, it's Saz from the Sentimentally Yours design team. I just thought I'd come on and show you a quick card following Phil's happy hour on Thursday, because a lot of you liked the card fold that he used in it. So I just thought I'd pop on and show you. This is the card that I made using the fold that he used. So I thought I'll come and show you the measurements because a couple of you asked for them, and just make a quick card. I have prepared a lot of the stuff in advance so that you don't have to watch me making all of the flowers, but I will show you how to make the flowers. As you can see in front of us, we've got all the things that we're going to be using. These are the panels for the card. I'll give you the dimensions of those when we come to them. And the flowers, which I'll show you how to make. The coloured inks that we're using are Victorian Velvet and Bundled Sage, because you'll see when you put them against the papers how well they match. And again, I've used my colour swatches against the papers to choose the ink colours, and you can see that they match these two really well. So this is a good idea to do. All I've done is got a piece of card, what dimensions? 5 by 3, and all I've done is put the ink onto the piece of card, put the name of the ink on the back of it, and then I've just laminated it. But you don't have to laminate it. It just gives you all of the different colours, and then you can match them against your papers. But like I say, I've chosen this one, and it's Bundled Sage and Victorian Velvet. Right, so, and the finger daubers that I'm using are on the Honeypot Crafts website as well. So to make the flowers, I'm using the Floral finery, and it's the Delightfully Dotty. It just gives you the deboss on the flower, and I'm using the lustre paper for this. And also these is also from the Floral finery set, and it's the Fantastic Fronds. These are the ones that cut out and just give you the outline. But what I will say is the inside, from where it cuts the inside out, don't throw those away, because you can fold those in half and you can tuck those in as well. So there's no waste with those. Just put these to one side. Put my other leaves, put them all together. So that's the two sets that we're using for those. I'm also using the Debossed double stitch circles, and this is for the circles in the middle there. There's two. I don't know whether you can see that. So that's the die set that we're using to cut those out. Then we're also using, I don't know whether you can see this, the Rose Garden Creative Pack. Now, I've been playing with these quite a bit, and you get papers in there with pink backgrounds, green backgrounds, and you also get tags and squares and just cut out pieces and strips and loads of ephemera. So you've got not verses, you've got sentiments, you've got little buttons, you've got little corners, and we're using the corners here. Put them over to one side so that we don't lose those. And I'm using the little word ones as well. This one says love, this one says cherish. Right, so for the flowers, I'm using the rose petal lustre paper. Sorry, you got a bit of a shine on the paper there from my lights. So that's what we're using for those. And on the edge, I'm using the diamond dust. And in the middle, I know Phil used pearls, but what I'm using is, it's got tangled up in my leaves, little stamens. And I'll show you how I've done that when we get to that stage. So that's what I'm using. And for the leaves, I'm using the Fresh Mint lustre card for those. All right, I didn't know whether we'd get shine. Yes, we did. So I'll leave the black mat there. Right, now to get started, you need an A4 sheet of, just try and move my wire out the way without knocking anything over. No, still got it there. Oh well, you'll just have to have a line just here. That's my cable from my charging my phone so that we don't go flat. Right, so like I said, A4 piece of card, and we're going to score it. Now you can adapt the measurements to whatever you want it to be, as long as you have both sides equal. And depending how far you want it to pop up, you could have it so that it doesn't pop up as deeply, but then it won't stand up as well. Obviously, jutting out, that gives you the stability for it to stand up on its own. So the wider you do these, the better. So I will give you the measurements. I do centimetres, so apologies to those ladies that do inches. You're going to put the long side, sorry, that was my bracelet, the long side against the top. Just make sure you can see this, yeah. And you are going to score at 8 centimetres and 11 centimetres. You're going to turn the card round and you're going to score at 8 and 11. And why I turned it and did it from both ends is that in the UK, A4 paper isn't, it's nearly 29.5, so it would make it difficult to give you the measurements to do it the other end, because then the other piece would be shorter. Probably sounds confusing, but I know what I mean. So if you turn it and do it from both ends, it means that the odd measurement is on this middle piece here. So that actually works out at around about 7.5. So at the side you've got 8, and then for these pieces you've got 3, then you've got 7.5, 3 and 8. So the score again is at 8 and 11. I'll try to put them in the instructions and the measurements in the description at the bottom, if I can. I don't know if I can until I try. But if not, I will put them on a post on Facebook so that you know. So again, that's 8 and 11. Turn it round, 8 and 11. All right, so take the scoreboard away. And you need a bone folder. So the first side you're going to bend up and score. The next one you're going to fold back. So you've got a mountain fold there and a valley fold there. And what you're going to do is repeat that on the other side. So, and make sure that you line it up so that the card is flat, and then fold that one back. So again, you've got a valley and a mountain, and then you will get that shape. So when it goes in an envelope and when it folds flat, It's 17.5 by 21 centimetres. But like I say, you can adapt the size of this. You could do this at 7 and then have a 4 centimetre. But you can play about with it. All I do is I use copy paper so that we're not using our precious card. And you can practice with the paper, folding it up and then transfer it onto your card. So what we'll do now is we'll get creating. So I'll just open it out, and all we're going to do is decorate these 3 panels. You could do these if you wanted to, but I'm not going to bother, because once it's folded up like this one, you're not going to see it. So you can see there that they're both base card. Right, so what I've done is I've cut some pieces from the creative pack, and the 2 side pieces measure, I've written it on the back here, 7 by 20 centimetres, and that's both of these. And the middle one is 6.5. You can play about with the measurement for this a little bit, because like I say, it isn't a precise measurement, so you probably want 6.6 centimetres. But you can measure yours. It depends what GSM of card you use as well as to how thick the folds are. But I'm sure you know that already. So all I've done with this is I've taken the bundled sage distress ink, used my finger dauber, and I've just gone round the edges of all of these and added the ink. You can see that I've already done, but the Victorian velvet would look just as good, because on my original I used the green papers and I've done the edges with the Victorian velvet, again in the same way, using the finger dauber. Right, so we'll stick this in place, and for this I'm using Phil's Premium PVA glue. You can get it in a big bottle. This one's 500 ml, but I decant it into a little one just to make it a bit easier. So what we're going to do is add the glue. Make sure you've got this one the right way up, because this one has got some script on there. So equal borders around the outside. And I'll add the middle one. Oops, nearly dropped it on myself. Decide which way up we're going to do that. And the last one. And we're going to stick that last one in place. As you can see, it just leaves a nice border around the edge, so that when it's folded up, you've got a border here, and all the borders are equal. Right, so the next stage is the centre panels that we're going to do here. And like I say, I've already pre-cut these, and I've taken, you do get some circles in the creative pack, so I've just cut circle out using the Debossed double stitch circles. As you can see, they give a nice stitched effect round both edges. So I've used one to cut that out, and then the next size up to cut the other one out. And again, I've just gone round the edges with the bundled sage, just adding the colour round there. So and I've added a line of the glue with my small bottle nozzle. Put the top on that. And sprinkled some diamond dust round it. So we'll add this one top. This one's going to be flat. As you can see, I've already added the double-sided, the foam tape to the back. I just needed to know which way up to put my flowers because I want my flowers at the top and bottom. And what we're going to do, no, we'll go on to the next one again. You've got circles in the smaller sizes, so just choose the correct size of die to go with it. And again, I've cut this one out and then done the next one up and edged it with the bundled sage again, and we're going to stick this one flat. I've already added diamond dust to the outside of the circle, just so that we didn't have to wait for it to dry. So I've added my foam tape to the back, but how you work out how to do this is, as Phil showed us, turn it upside down. Apologies, coughing there. Turn it upside down, get the circle central. This is with it folded up, and you can either make a couple of pencil marks. It's going to be on the underside, so you're not going to be able to see it, because you only want the foam tape on the centre panel, because if you put it on here, you're going to stick it down. So add your foam tape there, and then we're going to take the backing off these. I love this foam tape. It's so easy to get the back off. And if you keep your fingers against it underneath there, you know where the edge of the card is, so that you can line it up and then we can stick it down. So you can see now it's just stuck on that centre panel, and already it's starting to look nice and shiny. So with this next panel, I've also added foam tape on the back, but you can cover the whole of it because this is just going to go in the middle here. I think this has got some script on the back, so I'm going to put it that way. So take the foam tape off the back. Thank goodness I've got nails so that I can get under it. So centralise that in the middle and stick it down. So we've got some dimension on the card now as well. And all I've done for the sentiment is I've taken one of the sentiments, added diamond dust around the edge, cut a piece of white card just to make the same borders that we've got running through, and then edged it with the bundled sage again. Again, we've added foam tape to the back there. So take that off, and we're going to put that centrally across that centre border. So lining the sides up, and then round here is where we're going to add our flowers. So you can see there's some nice dimension on that. Let me stand up and you can see that it's all layered up. So we'll put that to one side, and then we will get on with the flowers. So what I've done is I've cut some out, and this is in the pale gold lustre paper, so that I can show you how the flowers are made. Now this is exactly the same technique that Phil used in his happy hour last week. So if you get the tweezers, the ones with the crooked end, and have them squeeze hold of the end of the petal and turn. And turn, and turn. Now you need to do that with all of them, so I'll just quickly do that. You could probably do this with card as well, but obviously with the paper, it's such a good weight of paper that is fairly robust. So as you can see, I'm not being really careful. not pulling any petals off yet. And it's quite quick. And you can see the debossed effect in the flowers. Can you see that? The debossed effect in the flowers shows up. Right, so we've got all of those. So we've got 2 of the bigger one and 2 of the smaller one. We're using the 4-petaled. So we can put the pointy tweezers away, and they do come with their own protective cover so that you don't stab yourself, because it is quite sharp. So I'm going to take my bullet-ended tweezers. These are really, really good. And I can't craft without them now. So we're going to put a bit of glue in the centre there. Let's put top on my glue, otherwise we won't be able to use it. And I found that if you fold the edges of the flower up and hold on to it, and then you're going to put it in the middle, filling in the gap. So you're going to slightly turn it round, and you can see you're already starting to get the dimension on the flowers. So repeat that with the smaller flower, just bend them up slightly, and then, oops, it's alive. And then press down and just hold, just until it grabs. Now we add glue to the centre of that flower, the larger flower this one is, and take the smaller one, and again you want to turn it so that the petals go alternate way rounds. Now the next piece that I do is adding the centre to the flower, and as you can see here I've put stamens in the middle. So how I've done that is put this to one side and wait for it to dry, and I've done one before time so that I can make sure it's dry. And take your mat, or you can prick it into a rubber. Take your pokey tool and just be really careful, and in the centre of the flower push it through. Probably need to turn it gently, and you'll end up with a hole in the centre. What you're going to do is take your stamen. Now sometimes this goes straight through and sometimes it doesn't, so we may need to help it along the way. Just because I'm doing a video, it now won't go straight through. But what we're going to do is wiggle it through the hole, and you can pull it all the way through, or you can have them up, or you can try and make the hole a little bit bigger like I have done. Mind you, these are smaller stamen, and put more in there, or you can add your pearls in the centre. And all I do with this, once I've got it to the right level, is turn it over and add some glue round the base of the flower, securing the stamen in place. So I just put this over to one side now and let it dry. Then once it's dry, you can turn it over and you can snip that off. So then you've got it sealed in the bottom with a small blob of glue. And then all I've done is I've taken my glue and I've just gone round the edges of the petals and added the diamond dust. So that's how the flowers are made. Let's put that to one side. So now we come to the assembly. So I bring the card back in again, and I've already got the flowers made, and we're going to be putting them either side. And of course, we're going to be putting them on with pin flare. So if we add the pin flare to the back of the flowers, and then we can put the first one here. Once the glue has dried, you can then go back and shape the flowers if you've flattened them. So we'll do the other side. So you can go into a production line and make some flowers. Adding more pin flare to the back of these. Oops, stuck to my finger. Just wipe my finger to get the pin flare off there. So the big one in the middle and the smaller ones each side. Right, now we come to the leaves, and all I'm going to do with these is just bend them to shape them. Tickly cough, excuse me. And tuck them underneath the outside flowers and bend them. And again, if you need to lift the flower up, you can do. You may need to add more glue onto the back. You can just bend these with your fingers. You don't have to use a bone folder or anything like that. Tuck that underneath. And as you can see, I'm turning my card just to make it easier for myself, and then I haven't got my arm across the camera. So there we go. And that is the finished card. Like I say, once these have dried, you can shape the petals up if they've gone slightly out of shape. Make sure they're level first before I leave it to dry. So there we go. There we have the finished card. And you can see the dimension there and all the sparkle. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a go. Have a go at the flowers. They're really quite easy. And make sure you post them off on the Crafting with Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours page. You will have to ask to join, and there are a few questions. So there we've got the one we've just made and the one that I made earlier. So they're using the same paper pack. This one's using the green papers and this one is using the pink papers. This one I've used the papers from the pack to make the flowers. And I've also used white card and just added diamond dust and used different... we haven't put these on, have we? So all we're going to do with these is add them. Oops, putting it the right way up. Let's stick these in place. So adding glue to the back. Making sure it's the right way up. And this one. How far in did I do it? I go quiet when I concentrate. And then we've got the corners, so turn them over and add glue to the back of them. Do it all at the same time. And these corners are from the ephemera in the creative pack. Sometimes if it's a small piece, I just dab it on the back of my hand just to take any excess glue off so that it doesn't ooze out. Oh, I've got glue on my tweezers. So adding it to the other corner, and then, like I say, turn it round. It makes it easier for yourself. Tap off the excess. Put the corners. There we go. And your glue wipes off your hand. No problems. So there we go. That is it, finished now. So we've just added, knocking the flower about, just added the corners here and the sentiments in the corner. So there we have the 2 cards. So like I say, hope you enjoy making this, and please let us see what you've made. Thanks very much. Bye.